A carefree trip with friends to Mexico. But for 25-year-old Shankella Robinson, the dream turned into a nightmare. Laughter turned into cries for help. What was supposed to be a vacation ended in a brutal death. Who was bullying Shankella before her death? Why did Shankella die? Who is responsible? We will try to find all the answers to these questions. Let's get started. On January 9, 1997, Shankella Robinson was born in Charlotte, North Carolina. She graduated from Winston-Salem State University in 2018 after attending West Charlotte High School. She owned two companies. The first was an online clothing business named The Exquisite Business, and the other was a hair braiding service for kids aged 1 to 12 called Exquisite Babies. Shankella was doing well in both of her ventures. Her future appeared bright because of her talent and creativity. Shankella planned a trip with 6 of her friends to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, scheduled for October 2022. Salamondra, her mother, stated that Khalil was among those traveling with her. The friends at the Puerto Los Cabo resort rented a villa. With 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and a swimming pool, it was an opulent villa. They intended to remain for the duration of the weekend and then leave on October 31st. The statement stated that Shankella covered the cost of the villa, which was supposedly $1,600 each night. According to Salamondra, the gang was going to Cabo to celebrate Dejane Jackson's birthday. On October 28th, the group departed from Charlotte, North Carolina, and landed in Cabo. It's unknown what transpired after Shankella and the others landed in Cabo, because no one who traveled with them has come forward. All we know is that Shankella had a conversation with her mother following her arrival. Salamondra claimed that her daughter informed her that she was enjoying herself and preparing dinner. She informed her mother that she would give her a call the next day and that they were about to enjoy some taco salad. Her mother claimed that she made a few posts on her Instagram profile after her arrival. In less than 24 hours, Shankella passed away. The day after she landed in Mexico, Shankella wasn't feeling well, and Khalil informed Salamondra of this. He informed her that Shankella was in need of medical attention since she had consumed too much alcohol. Salamondra stated that she received the call sometime that evening, which would be midday Cabo time. However, she could not specify exactly when she received it in North Carolina. Nazir Wiggins became the 7th person to arrive in Cabo to take part in the festivities in the afternoon. The only other individual present who has shared their perspective on the occurrence is Nazir. When Nazir arrived in Cabo at 2:15 p.m., he asked one of his traveling buddies at the villa for the address. That's when he found out Shankella was ill, he claimed. She'd had too much to drink, they told him. When Nazir got to the villa, Shankella was slumped over a toilet in the bathroom, while the group was in a room together. When Dr. Carolina Gutierrez arrived at the villa at 3:15 p.m., the residents informed her that Shankella had consumed excessive amounts of alcohol. According to the police complaint, Dr. Gutierrez tried to give Shankella an IV, but it didn't work. Shankella was reported to have been unable to communicate with the doctor due to her apparent intoxication. Despite having acceptable vital signs, she was dehydrated. According to the report, the group declined Dr. Gutierrez's suggestion that Shankella be sent to the hospital for more care, preferring that she get care at the villa. Dr. Gutierrez visited Shankella at 4:20 p.m. and stayed for more than an hour, but she was not getting better. Shankella's condition deteriorated as a result, and she started having seizures about 4:20 p.m. The seizures lasted only a few minutes, according to the police report, after which Shankella started having respiratory problems and her pulse stopped. Winter Donovan, another woman residing in the villa, then dialed 911. Salamondra reportedly got a follow-up call, informing her that paramedics were en route. The doctor and another unnamed member of the group started performing CPR at 4:49 p.m., but Shankella's heart was starting to fail. According to the accounts, Shankella was given 6 defibrillator shocks, 5 doses of adrenaline, and 14 rounds of CPR. Police spoke with Dr. Gutierrez at the villa around 5:25 p.m. Shankella Robinson experienced a heart arrest shortly after, and at 5:57 p.m. she was pronounced deceased. The police report said that cardiac arrest was the cause of her death. Salamondra was already curious about Khalil's account. She grew even more skeptical, though, when she discovered that her daughter had been involved in a fight that Khalil had neglected to disclose. Salamondra did not know exactly when the group left Cabo, but she talked to those who had gone, and each of them had a different story to tell. One of them informed her that a maid had discovered Shankella in the restroom. Salamondra knew that someone was concealing something, but she couldn't figure out what, because the stories they told didn't add together. Almost 2 weeks after Shankella's death, on November 10, 2022, The family received the post-mortem report from the Cabo coroner. Shankela's autopsy revealed that she did not pass away from alcohol poisoning. Her neck fracture and serious spinal cord injuries were the causes of her death. The report made no mention of alcohol. She passed away at 3 p.m., 15 minutes after being hurt. Her mother quickly realized that her daughter had suffered a horrible loss. Shankela had not accidentally fractured her neck. It was unknown to her at the time, though, that a doctor was present when her daughter passed away, and that the police record stated she passed away around 3 hours later at 6 p.m. The difference between the police report and the autopsy report was unknown to her relatives. According to Mexican authorities, there was no need for a second inquiry because this death was unintentional. Upon being notified, the state agency stated that there didn't seem to be any malicious activity. On November 12, 2022, Shankela's body was flown back to North Carolina after paying $6,000 for it. However, her mother realized her daughter had been attacked as soon as she saw her. Salamondra stated that bruises and other physical evidence of torture were visible on her daughter's body. Video footage of a vicious attack surfaced 5 days after Shankela's family was notified of the autopsy results. Shankela was in the video, as confirmed by her parents. But we're not sure when the footage was shot. It might have been the day she passed away, or the day they arrived. But the light outside says it was daylight. Shankela and a woman, who some on social media have claimed to be Daejhanae Jackson, were seen in the video. Shankela was physically abused by the woman while she was nude in the video. The woman grabbed Shankela during the video, tossed her to the ground, and then kneed her in the head. Following several days of exertion, the Mexican government declared that an inquiry into Shankela's demise had begun. The FBI in Charlotte affirmed that they were conducting an investigation in addition to receiving the widely shared footage of the incident. Following the release of the police report, which was discovered to be at odds with the autopsy, authorities in Mexico also declared that they were looking into Dr. Gutierrez, who had spent hours in Shankela's home before her death, and 2 police officers. The Mexican authorities came under heavy fire for the manner in which they conducted this death inquiry. The authorities declared on November 23rd that they had issued an arrest warrant for a single person, but they only stated that she was a woman. After arriving at the resort on October 28th, the group enjoyed dinner that evening, according to the Law and Criminal Inquiry. Staff at the resort reported that Shankela appeared withdrawn. The battle that was caught on camera went down on October 29th between 7 and 8:30 a.m., depending on where the sun was in the room at the time. Daejhanae Jackson expressed a need for medical attention around 1:50 p.m. At 5:57 p.m., Shankela was formally pronounced deceased. The group departed the resort for dinner at a restaurant between 9 and 9:30 p.m. That evening, they reserved a hotel close to the airport and never went back to their resort home. There were rumors circulating in April that the FBI and prosecutors had concluded their probe and would not be pursuing federal criminal charges.